Okay folks, we are very quickly approaching snow bike season. So we're gonna pull out the old KTM snow bike here before we start our brand new build. And we got some Yeti stuff we gotta work on. And we got a really interesting thing to talk to you about a situation we had with a Yeti last year that we think we've got sorted out. And you're gonna join us for the journey. So let's open the trailer up, get these bikes out, start talking about maintenance. Who put that there? We'll get inside soon and tell you why this part alone made it sound like the track was falling apart. So we'll get to that shortly, so stay tuned. All right, off I go. All right, well, so far things sound pretty good. I don't think there's much of a problem. Not much to carve into though. So last year, when we put this thing away, or just before we put it away, come on, Snow, grab. There was a lot of clack, 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 clack coming out of the back end of this thing. And we were like, oh man, is it the track that's the problem? Is it too loose? Is it the rails? Is it like the belt? Is it the chain? Like, we really didn't know what it was per se until all of a sudden we started thinking about the other rotating components. And but this sounds okay. I think we fixed the problem. So let's head inside the shop and let's talk about why the jack shaft that was on this and the sprocket made such a horrific noise that we thought the thing was going to fall apart. Okay, so we're back inside the shop where it's warm. I want to make it really, really clear here, guys. I am not an official Yeti mechanic. I'm not an official Yeti tech guy whatsoever. I am a Yeti ambassador for the province of Ontario. So, with that said, let's talk about this. This is all coming from me personally and my experiences, okay? It may not be your problem, but if it is, hopefully I'm here to help. This is the jack shaft. Okay, this is located inside of your tunnel on a Yeti. And then this is your sprocket. Okay, so this sprocket obviously is what's going to receive the power from your motorcycle. And then it will change it over on this side into your belt drive. Now, really cool thing about YetiSnowMX, they've been really good at keeping all the documentation clear. So if you jump on Yeti's webpage, so this is a recent webpage now, right? And if you go over, when you go into parts, and then in the parts, you scroll down and pick your model year. So this is a 19. And then in the 19 section, I'm basically just going to go through the pages until I see that part so you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about here. There we go. Okay, it has the part on the web page. Okay, there's definitely some sort of washer system in there. There's your main sprocket, another washer system, and then of course your outer bearings, your housings, all that stuff. So when I replaced this on the bike, and I'll tell you exactly why, and I said before that it was a lot of rattling noise going on, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to change the bearings. I'm going to change the housings. I'm going to put the whole thing in new. I'm not saying that's what you're going to have to do, but I was really stuck. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, why is this still making noise? What was the noise? The noise sounded like your track was not adjusted properly. You had a lot of track slap. And if you guys have ever let your track get too loose, or sometimes too tight, you'll get this like vibration frequency and it could be slapping against the rollers, it could be slapping against the sliders, it could be slapping against who knows, whatever. And when we got in the deep snow, the sound would greatly go away. And then when we got back on hard pack, like if we had to use the side of a road to go somewhere, it became really, really loud. And then it got me thinking about, okay, well, let's adjust the track. So we adjusted the track, and didn't need adjusting, it was perfect. All right, let's check the chain tension. No, chain tension was perfect. Okay, maybe it's the belt, highly unlikely, but let's check the belt tension. Belt tension was perfect. All right, well, maybe we got a bearing out on the back of this thing. So we went back, we we loosened the track off and we spun the bearings, and they're the ones we could get at with our hands, and it all seems fine. And we looked and inspected, we didn't see rust, and everything seemed to be okay. Until we went back out again and we thought, well, maybe it's fixed. And right away, clack, 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 clack. Before I became professional in my off-road riding career, I was an audio engineer, and I did a lot of sound for events, and I fixed a lot of speaker and speaker cabinets, and I was getting really good with acoustics. And I thought to myself, okay, it goes away when it gets into deep snow, and then it gets louder and less snow. So that's an acoustical thing. And the way that a tunnel is created on a YetiSnowMX, it's almost like a speaker box. It's almost like it amplifies all the sound that's under there, because it's this beautiful piece of carbon fiber, and it's resonating, and it's making the sounds throw them back out like a speaker box. And I was like, okay, all right, maybe this is a drive line thing. So I'm trying to remember what they're called, but they're the main like big sprockets that drive the track. Maybe those are loose. Maybe there's a lot of play in those. So I called YetiSnowMX, and they were like, well, you'd be able to tell it by looking at this. And I looked at what they recommended and said, that looks in spec. That looks okay. So when I got the snow bike back in the garage, I disconnected the chain from the front of the motorcycle, and I grabbed it, and I was going kunk, 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 kunk with the chain, going, hey, that kind of sounds like the noise. And my friend Owen that was riding the bike that day, one of our Team RC guys, he was like, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Huh. So was it the chain and the sprocket worn out? That sprocket looks pretty damn good. I mean, there's no shark toothing on it. It doesn't look like it's had overwear. It looks really good. All right. But it does marry up with the jack shaft on the inside. So I checked it, and I thought, okay, well, let's see what kind of play it has. And when it's on the shaft, hopefully you can hear that. Okay. When you get these brand new, they should sound like this. No noise at all. This has a play. That little bit of noise, guys, amplifying in that tunnel, made it sound like the thing was going to fall apart on me. So I then started digging into my YetiSnowMX manual, and I started looking into it a bit more, and they were like, yeah, when this gets applied, they recommend a particular type of, it's not like a thread locker, but it's almost like thread locker you put in there, and it's meant to close up the tolerances of when you mesh gears together. It doesn't look like it was until 2020 where Camso made the decision to talk about adding this Loctite product to the shaft spline. Okay, so when you see on the manual the little drops, it means you're putting some sort of liquid on there. Okay, in this case, it's Loctite. Now, Loctite is a brand. It's like Kleenex. It's a facial tissue. Loctite is a brand. Windex is a brand, window cleaner. You know what I mean? So they are saying in the manual here, and you won't find this in the 18. You'll have to skip up a couple of years, and you will see it listed. So jump around a little bit on Yeti's page. You'll find the information you want. And if you can't find it, give them a call. They should be able to help you out. So I couldn't find Loctite 648, so I just simply did a Google and found out what was the equivalent. The equivalent is Permatex. So this Permatech, it's called high temperature sleeve retainer. Okay, now if you look on Permatech's webpage, this will cross-reference over. They have like a Loctite / Permatex cross-reference chart on their webpage site. And it will say this is the product to replace Loctite 648. Now, unfortunately, this was a little too worn out to be able just to do that and fix it. When I ordered the new jack shaft and sprocket, and I got it from Yeti, I held it together like this, and I said, okay, guys, let's see what this is going on. And sure enough, It made no clicking noise. It was perfectly like married up with each other. It was even a bit of a struggle. You could feel it just, oh, that's a tight tolerance. So, definitely a serviceable part on your bike, on your snow bike kit. How did this get worn out in the first place? The only thing I can think of is that it wasn't checked. Maybe, I don't know, but if once a year is too much, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, the things sit doing nothing for half a year in your garage, so why not take a couple days and go over them? But probably from just like whack, whack. And we do that a lot, right? We're sitting on the side of a hill and we gotta get the thing getting up and moving, bang, and get it to move. And it slowly but surely just goes whack, 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 whack. And it causes it to wear out the metal and get loose. So with this now replaced inside that 129 free ride that we test drove earlier on, it took away that chatter rattle. And honestly, it's not surprising, but it is amazing. If you have, let's say, the bottom end of your dirt bike cylinder, your main crank bearing has got just a little bit of play in it. Like you grab that connecting rod when it's all taken apart and it's like, I feel a tiny bit of play, like just a little bit. You put the bike all back together and it's going bang, 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 bang. They go, holy crap. Like my bike's gonna fall apart. I think it's the same idea with this. At least that's what I have come across. So Yeti, will the bike run? Would have lasted another couple seasons? Hell yeah. It probably would have just got louder and louder and louder, but I bet you it would just kept going. And I've never had these leave me abandoned in the middle of nowhere. So, when you're trying to be an ambassador and you're letting people try your bikes and demo them, and they're wondering why the timber sled beside them sounds real nice and this one sounded like a clackety bag of bolts, you know, it's just simple maintenance. So that's all for now. Guys, if you make out a noise, check your jack shaft, drive sprocket, see if that's the problem. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.